Today we're going to talk about environmental changes. We have talked about this a little bit before spring break. Remember, we talked about how humans impact our environment greatly. It's a cycle, and unfortunately this happens every day, and our world is becoming worse because of it. Okay, we're going to talk about, we watched a video before spring break about the greenhouse gases. These are the gases that when the sun gives us solar energy, it helps trap it inside the earth. It helps our earth become warm so things are not frozen all the time. If we didn't have greenhouse gases, then we would all die because of it. Okay, one of the greenhouse gases is called carbon dioxide, CO2. Do you remember that element? Okay, it's important for our environment. Next. Okay, so what happens is we get more CO2 in the atmosphere when we burn fossil fuels. The sign is fossil fuels. Okay, how do we burn fossil fuels? There's a few ways. One, through mining. Okay, we take out chemicals that were once inside the earth in the ground, and we're taking them out. It's good for humans and for resources, yes, but it's bad for our environment. Okay, oil. What do we use the oil for? Gasoline. We have many cars, and more cars are being built every day. The problem with that is we have more fossil fuels in our atmosphere, which means more CO2. Okay. Same with factories. Factories are causing gases like CO2 to go into the atmosphere that before they were in the ground. Now they're in our atmosphere, and that is not good for our environment. These fossil fuels coming out is causing more CO2. Okay? So fossil fuels are an organic compound, but they're supposed to be in our ground, not in our atmosphere. So this causes what's called the greenhouse gases, or the greenhouse effect. Okay? So carbon dioxide, as you can see over the years, has increased every year. Why? Because humans continue to take out oil from the ground. They continue to cause pollution in the air. So when this happens, it traps more and more heat in our atmosphere. Okay, so what happens is the sun comes into the earth, okay, and the CO2 helps trap it. But if we have more and more CO2, then more and more heat is being trapped, and we don't want more heat being trapped. The earth gets warmer and warmer every year, and this is called the greenhouse effect. Okay, so you can see here are the predictions that will happen in 2070 and 2100. It'll get more and more hot in the earth. As you can see, over the last 5 years, our heat has increased every year. This process is called global warming. That is bad for our environment. Why? I'm going to show you. Okay, this used to be ice. Now it is melting. Before we had glaciers, you know, the rocks that are frozen, and they're big glaciers. But now, because of global warming, okay, they are melting. And what happens is when you have more water melting, it causes tsunamis. Do you know what tsunamis are? They are the water that goes up so tall and then onto land and kills many humans. Okay, so this causes tsunamis to happen and hurricanes, which can be awful for humans and land and animals and destroy a lot of things, because before this was ice and now it's melting. Also, what kind of animals live on the ice? Penguins, polar bears, walruses. There are many animals that live on ice, but when it melts, where do they go? They can't survive in the water. They need land also. So then those animals start to become extinct. Okay? Next one. Another thing fossil fuels cause is acid rain. Okay? You see the pollution that gets into our atmosphere, inside the clouds, inside the water. And when it rains, you have too much acid, which is a bad chemical, and it starts to kill our plants. Next one. Okay, look at these trees. The leaves have all died because of the awful acid rain. When these die, where do animals live? What do they eat? They have nothing to eat and no place to live. And that's a big problem. All because humans have decided we need cars, we need gasoline, we need factories, and started to cause more and more CO2 in the air. Okay? Human expansion. That means humans continue to build houses, to build tall buildings, and set up roads. That is a problem. Okay? Before this was full of trees, beautiful grass, many animals, but we decided to build more and more. Where do the animals go? Where do the animals live? There's no place for them to live there. So they start to move to other places until they have no other place to live and they start to die. Okay? Same with the plants. They will start to get destroyed and cut down. And now we don't have as many animals as before. Okay? This is called, when this happens, you lose your habitat. Animals' habitat, okay? Habitat means where animals live, okay? Their home. When we start to build, they lose their home, and that causes a reduce of biodiversity. Biodiversity. Do you remember what that means? We talked about it before. Biodiversity means before you had many different kinds of animals there. Bunnies, deer, raccoons, all kinds of animals. But now you only see rabbits or bunnies, right? In your neighborhood, do you see bunnies or do you see deers? Not really. If you go out into the forest areas, yes, you see some. But here, not anymore. They've had to move to different places. Okay, so humans also construct dams. What are dams? They look like this, okay? What is it for? What they do is they stop water from going and reaching the ocean, and they keep it all here. For water in your homes, water to drink, showers, washing your hands, okay? It's good for us, but bad for the animals. Before you had many animals living in this area, but now they can't survive because the water has been reduced. Okay, so that's a huge problem. Also, in these areas, it causes a lot of pollution to be collected, and it looks like this. Okay, animals can't live in polluted areas, just like we can't. So dams are good for humans, bad for animals. Okay? Dams will decrease nutrients and also lead to erosion of the river areas like this. See, this will continue to erode all around here. I think that's it. Okay. The last thing, with CO2 in the atmosphere, it causes more heat in the earth. Means less rain and will cause droughts. Where there once had water and trees, now there's nothing. So animals will start to die, as you can see here, because it causes a drought and reduces how much water is available. I think there's one more. Okay. It reduces the population of producers, means less plants. If there's no water, plants can't survive. If there's no plants, what are the rabbits going to eat? What are our animals going to eat? then the animals start to die. It is a cycle. And it is important that we as humans don't continue expanding and causing CO2 in our atmosphere, because then it affects the rest of the world. I think that's it. Thank you. Sorry for